What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. So one thing I didn't realize would be a part of my work as a therapist is the inevitability of clients quitting therapy, or when they end therapy sooner than I had planned or anticipated given their treatment plan. In other words, I'm talking about feeling surprised that a client is ending therapy, whether they let you know they're ending or if they completely ghost you. I remember early on in my career, the first times I had clients quit therapy prematurely, I took it personally. I questioned everything. I wondered if I had the wrong treatment plan, or if there was something about my approach that was wrong, or even whether I was cut out to be a therapist to begin with. But fear not, we all go through this. It's completely normal for clients to quit therapy. But it is also very important that we do our due diligence to analyze what happens when our clients quit therapy rather than either internalizing it or sweeping it under the rug. So in this video, I'll share some tools to help you cope when clients quit therapy and also offer some ways that you can improve your therapy work going forward. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. I've noticed that fellow therapists tend to respond in one of two ways when their clients quit therapy. Either they blame the client, meaning, there's something about the client that they're not ready for counseling or they're avoiding working on themselves, or they internalize blame as the therapist, meaning, there's something wrong about the work that I'm doing, my approach, my treatment plan, or me as a therapist that caused the client to quit therapy. But even though these two perspectives seem very different at face value, they have something in common. Whether you're blaming the client or internalizing blame for why a client has ended therapy prematurely, you are allowing your emotional reaction to dictate your perception of reality. Which, as we know as therapists, as important as our emotions are, they are not the end-all be-all of reality, and we need to collect actual data in order to understand why somebody is quitting therapy. So with all that said, here are some tools to help you cope when clients quit therapy, and also some ways you can incorporate your learning so that you can improve your therapy work going forward. The first tip is kind of a pre-tip before you've actually had a client quit counseling, and that's at the very beginning of therapy treatment. I let clients know that despite my proposed kind of course of treatment and maybe number of sessions that they might attend in therapy, that they have full authority to let me know at any point if things aren't quite going the way that they want. And I invite them to bring that up with me so that if and when things aren't going well, rather than them just leaving without telling me, hopefully they feel encouraged to say something so that we can collaborate and problem solve and potentially adjust things in such a way that either we correct the treatment plan so it's aligning with what they're looking for, or if they need to end counseling or transfer to somewhere else, we can do so together rather than them sort of just kind of dropping off the face of the earth. All right, now assuming you're in the situation where a client has already ended therapy prematurely, my next tip is to take note of your emotional reaction. Are you taking it personally maybe? Are you wondering whether you did something wrong with their treatment plan, or was there something about your approach with them that was off? Maybe you're questioning whether you should even be in the therapy profession at all. Or maybe are you reacting in anger? Are you thinking, that client wasn't ready for therapy, or I didn't like that client anyway, or they're avoiding working on themselves, and there could be that reaction as well. Or maybe you're feeling upset because you've been working so hard to build your caseload that you really just can't afford to lose a client right now. And so that's where all of your emotional reactions are coming from. Once you've made note of your emotional reactions, then it's time to take a step back and make any observations about potential reasons why this client might have ended therapy. Try to take into account both reasons about your client, their presenting issue, maybe items in their personal life or their finances, as well as items about you. Try to be as open-minded as possible, naming the full gamut of possibilities, explaining why this client might have ended treatment. And once you've done these steps so far, it's a good time to bring it up in consultation, whether it's just with a trusted therapist peer or some type of supervision consultation group. Present all the information you have collected so far, including your emotional reaction as well as your observations for reasons why this client might have left therapy, and then invite their feedback. And that naturally leads us to the last tip, which is to implement relevant changes. Now, in some cases, there aren't really any changes to make, and you can just find that closure knowing you've done your due diligence, kind of examining what's happened, consulting with your consultation peers, and kind of closing the case and moving on, saying, yep, there's nothing to pursue further here. Sometimes it does make sense to follow up with a client or change how you approach treatment with other clients in the future. And sometimes there's things that come up for you personally. So if there's something that you need to do about your own care, how you perceive yourself, or, pursue it in personal therapy, if the case may be, then now's a good time to go and implement those changes. Now, if you're noticing that rather than it being a sort of one-off of a client's quitting here, client's ending therapy there, there's kind of a repeated pattern of a significant percentage of your clients ending therapy sooner than you anticipated, then I encourage you to kind of zoom out and take a bird's eye view of your entire caseload, especially of folks who have quit therapy prematurely, and following these same steps again for your entire caseload rather than just one client. Now, it may very well be possible that you just happen to work with a higher risk population who tends to end therapy earlier than other populations. And it may not be anything that you're doing, but it is helpful to have that inventory, to take in that feedback, and if nothing more, have some self-reassurance that, it's okay. Or there may be some pattern about how you're approaching counseling in a way that, wants to be addressed, in which case, hopefully your consultation peers can help you with that. And as much as it can be tempting to have that upset reaction to client ending counseling services early, I encourage you to remind yourself that often ending therapy early can be a client's way of advocating for themselves. I've ended therapy early before, and in my perception of those moments, it was because I didn't know how to advocate for myself verbally with the therapist aside from just leaving. And so that's what I did. I was taking care of myself the best way that I knew how. So keep that in mind, that your clients may be just doing the best that they can to try to take care of themselves when they end therapy early with you. Well, I know if you've been in the therapy profession for any period of time, then you have experienced clients quitting therapy before. I hope it's come across that it's totally par for the course. And we do also need to do our due diligence to understand why our clients quit therapy when they do, rather than either internalizing it or kind of like brushing it under the rug. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with scheduling, notes, and billing, and they have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform built in for free for all members. So if you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if there are any tips or tools you would add to the ones I named that have helped you cope with clients ending therapy early. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well in order to make an informed perspective decision.